What is up, guys, and welcome back to episode number 86 now of the Leeds United career mode. Two more games in today's episode as we take on Liverpool as we look to wrap up the Premier League season. Of course, we've already been crowned champions. Now it's all about pride and making sure we don't lose any more games other than the one defeat we've had all season long to Chelsea. Then we take on United for the second leg of the semi-finals of the Champions League. We, of course, take a 3-0 aggregate lead back to Ellen Rovers here to take them on later on in the episode, and it should be quite a comfortable game for us. If we go into that and draw the game, effectively we're through anyways, it doesn't matter. But a 3-0 victory to take back into the home fixture against them is something that I was not expecting to be able to say, and I'm glad that we are able to say that because it means I can have a pretty bad performance and still probably go through to that Champions League final. So it looks inevitable right now that we will be playing in that Champions League final. Whether or not that will be Bayern or if it will be Roma, we'll have to wait and see. But either of those two teams will be a tough test no matter who we come up against in that final. But of course, I'm talking like we're already there, but the chances are 3-0 up in the game. If we lose on aggregate here and we end up going back to Ellen Road and losing 4-0, I will ultimately, I'd say I'd delete the career mode, but it's possible it could happen. But it shouldn't happen, really should not happen. You can see we've got the last 3 Premier League games coming up. I think I sim one of them into tomorrow's episode, which will be, if we do in fact make it through, we will be finishing with 1 Premier League game, and of course then if we do in fact get through, the Champions League final will be in that. If not, I'll be doing a wrap-up completely of basically the entire season, how it's gone for us. We're actually coming towards the close of the Leeds United career mode as well, so not this week, maybe at some point during Wednesday or Thursday, there'll be a straw poll out asking you what you want me to do basically after this career mode is done, because I said I wanted 1 more season with Leeds after this one no matter what, so of course we will be doing that, but I want to make it to 100 episodes in the series. But if you guys vote for me to carry on in this save and just move clubs, then of course we'll do that. But you'll have to wait for that vote to come around, and it will be out at some point during the week. So make sure you're always sticking around for that, and make sure you're on the lookout for it. It will be like something titled like You Guys Decide or something along those lines. And if it is a new career mode that you guys want, it will be hopefully out on Christmas Day to give you guys a little present. But that'll be later on the week for you to vote for it. Against Liverpool here, we came into this one, and it was actually Liverpool who created the majority of the first half chances. Ojo really should have put this side 1-0 up, but he ended up putting his effort wide of the post. But he did exceptionally well here to keep the ball in play, find Janssen in the penalty area, and Janssen slots that one home to make it 1-0 to Liverpool. And if you haven't seen already, the team that we named here wasn't a very strong one. It was a very, very weak side in terms of what we played. I think we got Rose and somebody else. It might have been Remy up front for ourselves on the day. So we didn't really name the strongest possible team we could have done, and that was just down to the fact that I had the semi-final to come against Manchester United. And of course, when you've already won the Premier League title, you don't particularly need to be winning many games in the Premier League. It's all about pride at this point, but I'm not too fussed anyways. We've already lost, so I can't go unbeaten. So there is that thing that I'm not too bothered about. But Liverpool really should have put this game out of our control in this one. They had 3 good opportunities to seal the deal here and make it 2-0, but we were unable to do so. And in the 79th minute, we managed to get our goal back. It came to Patrick Rose here, and we were really quiet for the majority of the game, and including this was literally the only real chance that I had as Lewis Baker cut inside, gave it to Rose. Rose with a lot of space opened up here for him to run into, gets past it, goes through a Liverpool man's leg. It's a very, very poor goal to concede if you're Liverpool, but I'll take that goal every day of the week. It went through the defender's legs, and that's what actually confused the Liverpool goalkeeper in between the sticks and allowed us to make it 1-1 here. So in the end, we get a comfortable I say a comfortable draw. I mean, we get a draw out of a game in which we probably should have lost, because Liverpool, for the majority of this game, were the miles better team, and they had a number of chances to seal the deal here, and they did not manage to take any of them, barring the one they, of course, did take with Shea Ojo into Janssen. But it was a very good performance from ourselves. We haven't played well, and to still get a result when you're not playing well is the stuff of champions. So to get a 1-1 draw here, I was over the moon with that, and I have to say, we didn't play well at all. Liverpool deserved the victory, but I'll take the draw here. It means we haven't lost a second game in the Premier League this season, which is another thing to be very happy about. But you can see there, match facts-wise, it was very, very even. We actually had more shots and more on target, but I don't remember even having any more shots than I did there, unless they were from distance and they got blocked. That's the only thing I could think of. But in my opinion there, we were outplayed by Liverpool, and that's to be expected. They have a slightly better team on paper than what we had and what I named there. If we were playing our strongest lineup, of course, it would have been a much different game, but we weren't playing the strongest lineup. You can see Joel Green actually asked for more money, so I went ahead and gave him a contract in the last episode. I didn't show you it, though, because it was nothing really too much. All he wanted was like £2,000 more, so I gave him that. And we went over to the other side. One of the additions to FIFA this year that I actually enjoy is the fact that your players do not ask for a mad pay increase. Like right now, Joel Green was on £15,000 a week, and he was 91 overall. When he came to me and said he wanted a new contract, I was expecting him to say upmost of like £200,000 to £300,000. No, he actually demanded only 20 grand a week, which is pretty damn sweet. So I guess he have taken into consideration the fact that, of course, players are still young, and even if you are that good, At the age of 19, would you be earning £400,000? Probably not. But you can see, making a few changes here before we go into this team. Before we go into the game here against Manchester United at Ellen Road, of course. Taking them on for the second leg of the Champions League, taking the 3-0 aggregate lead. And I could have literally played a youth academy team here. And provided that I set my tactics right and set everything correct, we should have comfortably come on through in the game. And that's what I was thinking in my head. I was thinking, I could play literally any side and probably still go through. But I wanted to make sure that the job was done. So you can see me here changing up the tactics, changing up the team. I actually put Oxford on to play in CDM for us. I actually haven't tried Oxford out in that CDM role at all this season, up until the final few episodes, and it's actually working out pretty damn sweet. He seems to be an exceptionally good centre defensive midfielder. Of course, when he first burst onto the scene against Arsenal, and West Ham ended up beating us by 2-0 there, he actually played CDM in that game, and since then, everybody's been, of course, because he's a default set of centre-back, people are playing him at centre-back, but I actually personally think he is a better centre defensive midfielder than he is centre-back. Like, I wasn't particularly thinking he was brilliant at centre-back when I was using him in the career mode, but I put him at CDM, and he just mops up everything. He's absolutely phenomenal in CDM, so maybe I was actually considering signing someone in the next season. I'm still going to try and get the guy that I've got in mind, because I think it'll spice up the series, and he's arguably the most OP midfielder on this entire game, and in real life, I am a huge fan of the guy that I will be trying to sign in the next season to spice the season up. Of course, next season, though, we have Romelu Lukaku joining us from United. We've got Iheanacho joining us from City. We've got a load of new players coming in on pre-contracts for the final season, possibly, of this career mode. And if that's the case, I'm just going to have fun with it. I'm not really going to be too bothered about the results and stuff like that, but I'll just enjoy it and see what we can do. But you can see here, against United, for the majority of the first half here, we were on top in terms of this one. Oxford here on the edge of the area, gives it into Anthony Martial. Martial all the way back to, I do believe, Grimaldo, takes a strike on. Quite comfortable, though, for David De Gea in net. And it wasn't really anything that United were going to be able to do here in this one in the first half, because I set myself up quite defensive, got men behind the ball and made sure that I didn't give away the ball. And as I say that, Barkley gives it away cheaply. But Smalling got himself in a lot of trouble. And when you've got Anthony Martial lurking behind you, you cannot afford to do that, because an 89 rated Anthony Martial, the top scorer in the Premier League, you give him one chance at goal, and the chances are that's hitting the back of the net, and that's exactly what it did there. So Martial gets us the 4th goal on aggregate, and surely now that is it for United. There's no way I was ever going to let a 4-goal lead slip in this game, or so that's what I thought. I thought there was no way I was going to let the lead slip, but there's still a long way to go in this. There's still a second half to come, of course, and when you have a team like this, United, they can cause danger from anywhere. But I was still comfortable. I was in this game and I was just enjoying my football at this point, because, of course, when you have a lead this big, you can just do stuff that you wouldn't normally be doing, especially a ball like that from Ross Barkley into Anthony Martial. It brought it down brilliantly. Unfortunately, though, his strike was, in fact, blocked. But United did pull one back in the 64th minute. It came at the hands of Romelu Lukaku, someone who is joining us next season. A lovely through ball into the big Belgian, and the Belgian slots that one home nicely past Bernard Leno in the goal. So I was very disappointed to not get a clean sheet out of this one, but you have to say, a very tidy finish from a man who's joining us next season. So that's good to see as well. The fact that, of course, Lukaku will be a Leeds United player next season, and if he's scoring goals like that, I'll be happy to see him do that at Ellen Road instead. A fantastic finish there from the big Belgian. Got United back a goal in the game, but ultimately it was not enough, because at the end of the day, a 1-1 draw is still not enough for them. It's nowhere near enough, actually, for them to try and get themselves through in the game, and we were still comfortable at this point. I was on top for the majority of the game. Sacco here, 72 minutes into the game, cuts it back into an area where El Ghazi really should have made it 2-1. A header wide of the post there, and I was gutted when this one didn't go in, and that's just absolutely just ridiculous from that one. I was thinking, how have you not put that in the back of the net? One thing to note, guys, if you want me to stay under the career mode, you have to make sure you tell me what you want me to do in terms of signing some of the Leeds players that we've got, of course, because Anwar, I want to try and take him wherever I go, but if that's not possible, then of course I'll have to be. Green almost making it 2 there with an 83rd minute strike, but that was all the game had in store. So guys, we are through to the Champions League final, which will be played completely live, fingers crossed, from the next episode, so you guys will be able to see Champions League final in our first season here in it at Leeds United. So that's absolutely mental. But let me know what you think the outcome of that game is going to be, because that will be tomorrow. I've already recorded it, of course, so if you guys predict it, you are absolute OGs. You can see the team we will be playing will actually be AS Roma. That's going to be interesting. Roma versus Leeds in the final, I'll take that. But out of all the teams we could have got, the other sides of that, I can't really take Roma too lightly, because they have knocked out some big names in this Champions League, including Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich. I think they've even knocked out Barcelona as well. So they've knocked out some pretty big names out of this Champions League. So they're not going to be a walkover at all in this final, and that's going to be from tomorrow's episode, completely live. Check back here at 4 o'clock UK time to catch that episode, and don't make sure you do not miss it, because it's the biggest game of the series so far. Fingers crossed you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, smash that like button, and as always, I'll catch you all for the next episode very soon. Adios.